fellow Vians. Hope you have a good week so far. And yeah, you may have noticed my hair is a little bit different. Well, that's because I got a haircut a couple days ago, so there you go. Anyway, so today we're going to continue our look at the Fifth Doctor era with Black Orchid. So, here we go. In an English country house, two figures struggle before one of them falls dead. A young woman sleeps as a figure enters a room. The figure is then seen tied to the bed guarded by a South American Indian. It is June 11th, 1925, and as the train departs Cranley Halt railway station, the TARDIS materializes. The crew encounters Lord Cranley's chauffeur, who has been expecting the Doctor. Lord Cranley asks them to stay until the annual ball and offer some costumes. They are introduced to Anne Talbot, Lord Cranley's fiancée, who looks identical to Nyssa. When Tegan admires the black flower, Lady Cranley explains it is a black orchid and was found on the Orinoco by her son George. Tegan recognizes the name as George Cranley, a famous botanist and explorer. Lady Cranley says that George never returned from his expedition into the Brazilian forests. Anne was engaged to George. The bound figure struggles against his bonds. When the Indian inspects the figure, he is knocked unconscious. Well, that's not good. The Doctor picks a Harlequin outfit to wear to the ball. Anne comes to their room, presenting Nyssa with a dress identical to her own. The ball attendees will be unable to tell them apart. That's kind of weird, but oh well then. As the Doctor prepares for the ball, a figure enters his room from a secret passage. Hearing a noise, the Doctor returns to the room, but only sees the opening. He enters the secret passage, but the panel closes behind him. The figure takes the Harlequin costume. The ball has started. Lady Cranley talks with the Indian. He tells her his friend has escaped. The figure wearing the Harlequin costume dances with Anne. The Doctor enters a room full of botany textbooks, finding the secret room where the figure is bound, a book written in Portuguese, and a corpse. The Harlequin enters the building with Anne. Anne tells that they should return to the party, but it grabs her by the wrist. Anne screams for help and a butler rushes to her assistance. The Harlequin strangles him, causing Anne to faint. The Doctor returns to the secret room, finding Lady Cranley and the Indian, whom she introduces as Latoni, a Brazilian friend. The Doctor shows them the corpse, which she identifies as one of the servants. She requests he not inform the guests. The figure returns the Harlequin costume to the Doctor's room, then goes to a room where Anne is lying, and a hideously deformed face is revealed. Anne awakes and sees the figure flees into the room where Lady Cranley and Latoni are. Latoni gathers rope, advancing on the deformed figure. The servants inform Lord Cranley of events inside the house. He finds the dead butler and Anne's mask. The Doctor arrives wearing a Harlequin costume and Anne identifies him as her attacker. Anne implores Sir Robert to arrest the Doctor, and Sir Robert asks the remaining guests to go home. The Doctor proclaims his innocence, suggesting that someone else has an identical costume. Anne states there was only one Harlequin. He looks to Lady Cranley to provide an alibi, but she stays silent. Sir Robert questions the Doctor about his identity, and he says he's a Time Lord and that he travels in time and space. Looking to Lady Cranley, he mentions the other body, and she denies seeing it. I think somebody's lying. Showing Sir Robert the cupboard, the body has been replaced with a doll. Lord Cranley receives a telephone call from his friend Smutty Thomas, who thinks he sent the Doctor to meet him, and he realizes it is the wrong man. Lord Cranley informs Sir Robert that the Doctor is an imposter. The real Doctor missed his train. Oh boy. The Doctor is arrested for murder. His companions accused of being accessories. They are driven to the police station. The Doctor asks the sergeant to divert the railway station to show Sir Robert the TARDIS, but is not on the platform. They find the TARDIS at the police station. Of course, where else would it be? Lady Cranley tells Lord Cranley about the other body, that of Digby the servant, establishing his innocence. In the secret room, the bound figure slips his robes and kills Latoni, after Latoni has hidden the room key. Unable to find the key, The figure starts stuffing newspapers under the door and sets them on fire. The Doctor invites Sir Robert and the police sergeant into the TARDIS. Astounded by what he sees, Sir Robert offers the Doctor an apology, but is still concerned about the murder. Lord Cranley telephones to the police station, informing them of the second body. The Doctor uses the TARDIS, returning them to Cranley Hall. The secret room is set ablaze with the fire started by the deformed figure. It breaks out and goes to the main hall where Lord and Lady Cranley are talking. The figure grabs hold of Nyssa and drags her upstairs. The Doctor cannot follow because the fire has spread. Sir Robert demands to know what the deformed figure is, and Lady Cranley reveals it is George. She insists George will not harm Anne, but the Doctor points out he has the wrong girl. Obviously. George carries Nyssa onto the roof. The Doctor asks Lord Cranley to distract George while he finds the way to their position. Lady Cranley confesses to Sir Robert. George's injuries were caused by Indians, who removed his tongue because they held the Black Orchid sacred. Losing his mind, he was rescued by another tribe of Indians, of which Latonia was a member. She admits that George killed Digby. Lord Cranley climbs onto the roof to confront George, and the Doctor also reaches the roof. The Doctor implores him to release Nyssa, telling him to look down and see Anne. George releases Nyssa. Charles approaches his brother to thank him, but George recoils and falls off the roof to his death. Aww. Before the Doctor departs, Anne gives Tegan and Nyssa their costumes as presents, and Lady Cranley presents the Doctor with a copy of George's book. Aw, that was nice. Anyway, let's look at some production notes here. This serial was commissioned by Jonathan Turner during a period when the series did not have a script editor. Producer Jonathan Turner had originally considered directing this story himself, which would have made him the first producer to do so since Barry Letts during the early 1970s. However, due to time constraints, Nathan Turner abandoned the idea and hired Ron Jones to direct. To avoid giving away the plot surprise, Gareth Milne's character was listed as the unknown for Part 1, and in the Radio Times as George Cranley for Part 2. Michael Cochran, who plays Lord Cranley, also appears in the 1989 Seventh Doctor serial Ghostlight. He also appeared in the audio plays No Man's Land and Brotherhood of the Daleks. Eivor Saller had previously played the Morg Commander in the Space Museum and Odysseus in The Mythmakers. In the DVD commentary, Peter Davison and Janet Fielding revealed that Black Orchid is not a particular favorite episode of theirs, because they disliked the lack of a science fiction element and thought the script was generally trite. I'm not sure I agree with them, but it's got its pros and cons. So, overall, I give Black Orchid 4 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next week as we take a look at Earthshock. So, until then, this is Hooving Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt, when I say run, run, I have a respiratory neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, vests are cool, and Stetsons are cool.